I actually do want to try doing a beep test and see if I can set a new record for myself. It feels awful though. The thing about beep test I don't like is that it's mostly about turning. Yeah, I think it's called a pacer test or something in English or in the US.
Yes.
In Swedish it's called the beep tests.
So it is revealed.
It's basically you run back and forth in a sport hall and you keep turning. You run across the hall and then you gotta run a little bit faster next time and then a little bit faster. Every time you gotta, I think it's back and forth 10 times, so back and forth 5 times. And then the level increases and you gotta go faster. But what I struggle with is really just, it kinda hurts my ankles, hurts my joints. Because it's so much about those sharp turns. It's easier to run a straight run, I feel. Obviously that's probably true for everyone though, but I hated that test in gym. I think everyone hated it in my class too. We had to do it when I joined the military. We had to do that test because it was like supposed to be a way for them to keep track of our fitness level upon entering and our fitness level upon exiting. And when I just joined the military, I had like 1.5 weeks before I nearly broke my ankle. I basically was doing terrain running and tripped really bad. Nearly broke my foot. So my foot hurt a lot. I could barely even wear a shoe. And then we had to do the beep test. And I told my officer, like, officer, my foot is not great. And he's like, okay, can you walk? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, then you can run. I'm like, I guess so. So he fucking put me to run. I did not score a record time on the entering test, but upon us being done in military, I got a pretty good time. He's technically correct. He wasn't wrong, I could run. It just hurt. It was not necessarily the best idea. I don't think that's what, 9 out of 10 doctors would recommend, but he wasn't wrong. What's my record? I'm trying to remember for sure. I think my record was like 14.8 that I did upon leaving the military. Because you have levels, right? So 14 being the level and 8 being how far into the level. I think everyone else in the platoon were dead around 13, apart from me and one more guy. And that guy had ambitions to become a competitive runner. So he was pretty fast. You were 14.1. Damn, that's not bad either, dude. Honestly though, I fucking hate... I just hate the turns. Like, it ruins the entire experience of running for me, sadly. Running is supposed to be about speed, not turning. I feel there's some people who are just really good at doing the turns efficiently and got really far because of that. Why did I leave the military? Well, I was done. Did my service. It would more be the question of why did I not continue or pursue a career? Well, I never had any desire to have a full-time career in the military. It was just basic service. My 330 days were up, and I did not need to continue. Is military service mandatory there, like in South Korea? Well, so the way it worked when I did it is that you had to first do a physical, mental, and psychological tests to see your fitness, your aptitude. So first you had your aptitude test, and then if you scored good, then you would have to do military service.
On my way.
But it was not everyone has to do it type thing. So I scored high because I wanted to do military service. So I tried hard on the tests, got good results and got in, did my service as a military police, and then I was done. Fucking Tinker. Oh dude, I should have let him hook me. I would fucking kill you. Okay, so it's Pudge playing mid and I'm still getting more than him. Guess I can feel pretty happy about that. Any positive side to military service? Oh yeah, for sure. I would say this probably sounds really cliche and like you may not believe it, but I believe that my time in the military was very character building. I think it helped me realize my limits and also realize how far I could push myself. Learn a lot of your weaknesses as well. You learn discipline, you learn how to work together with others, you learn how to get along with people that you may not want to get along with because you live with them for 330 days. And, well, they're gonna be your fucking roommates whether you like it or not. You learn to give orders, you learn to take orders, you know. You learn to plan, learn to shoot a gun, learn to beat someone up with a baton, learn to study a lot of law since I did military police service. We had a lot of studying the Swedish law and what applies in different scenarios. We had training in handguns, the Glock. We also got to do the mounted royal guard, so within that we also had to have stable service, riding some fucking blood horses that just want to eat your flesh. I have a scar on my elbow from the first day in the stables. The first horse that I was meant to take care of was called Cascade, presumably named from something like a cascade of blood, because when I was sent to the medic, after he bit me through the overall, pulled off so much flesh that I was bleeding from my elbow, and this is a true story, my medic at the military told me that that horse eats approximately one conscript per year in, you know, human flesh. I'm like, that's interesting. That horse has a taste for flesh. So that was Cascade. People didn't want him because he was a really, really dangerous horse to take care of, you could say, because he would fight you. Later on I learned though that this horse had a lot of territorial instincts. Basically, if you were in the box, that horse's box, it would consider you its enemy and it would do anything it could to get rid of you, kill you, you know, whatever. You know, it just gets you out of its space. So later on I learned that if I ever had to take care of that horse and ride that horse, then instead of saddling it up in the box the way you normally do, is to take it, lead it over to the shower area, the horse showers, and saddle up over there. And the horse would be completely nice, super kind, and in fact, when riding it, it was the best fucking horse ever. It listened to every command, it was super fast. That horse is put down now due to an incident. Really? Wait, did you serve? Tell me if you got the story, because that doesn't sound surprising to me. That horse had to be put down. It is kind of sad though. But you know, it left a good scar on me.
Your middle tower
An
is
incident.
under attack.
Yeah. Well, there were some other horses that, you know, broke a few ribs on people.
Set.
I guess it ate enough humans.
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
There we go. Got the tower. Are the horses bred to be aggressive, or is it just a bad horse? They are, in fact, bred to be aggressive.
As the temple
They
requires.
are, in fact, bred to be aggressive, as they are war horses at its root
The trail
long ago. Of course,
clue to my existence.
I'm not saying that they are necessarily, you know, taught to be aggressive anymore, but they did used to take the big, strong, aggressive horses and breed them.
Elude me not.
Yeah, Zeus appears to be missing, huh? Alright, Desert is complete.
On your guard. Your middle tower is under
While we're talking and having story time here, I got a 12-minute Desolator.
That is clear.
Having a pretty good timing game.
Desolator.
Cascade used to be next to a horse called Master as well.
Another scale
Master
of
was
ignorance.
not necessarily quite as evil, but twice as tricky.
Damage.
Master
Clues.
would always run away. Always. Without fail, Master would find a way to get out of where he was supposed to be and to somewhere where he is not supposed to be. Oh my goodness, what a good spear. No, he jumped.
I know it. Trap set. Readily.
And one time the officers had a pony in the stable for a while for their kids, so that the officers' kids could come and, I don't know, ride a little bit. And this pony was next to Master, and it learned very quickly to try and escape.
Radiant structures are fortified.
One time, that pony tried to escape when my captain was coming down the hallway. So the little pony was running away.
Your middle
And then my very not so little captain came the other way. He basically grabbed the horse, he grabbed the pony and kind of just pulled it back into the box, and it looked fucking hilarious, dude. It looked like, whoops, I was not supposed to leave? Okay. What happened here?
The enemy's bottom tower has fallen. Clues to find.
It looked ridiculous. I've never seen a horse be moved as if it was a small dog before.
So be it.
I also thought he was gonna tackle it to the ground. Nah, he just kind of grabbed it by the mane and by the tail. It kind of just made it go backwards until it was back in the box.
On my way.
Now, my captain was a very nice guy, but it was really fucking big, so
The enemy's top tower.
he wouldn't want to hurt the horse or anything.
I'm not ready. So it is with
Swedish Army sounds like a summer camp. Well, depends which moments I'm sharing, I guess.
middle tower
I could also share the moment where I almost got shot, the moment I almost broke my neck, and you know, some other sweet moments, like when there was a gun missing. Monka gun.
strange.
It's all about which stories you share.
The trail is fresh.
Yeah, the story of the missing gun is pretty good, actually. I'll tell the story. So, this was during our survival week, basically. We had to do a survival week to earn our green beret. Not necessarily the same as the green berets, but
Purpose is clear.
we did get a green beret for doing it. If you fail, you do not get it, and you get to wear a cap instead of a beret. It will look very silly, as others next to you will have a beret, and you will have a cap. You don't want to be a guy with a cap, so you want to survive through this survival week. Not everyone will though, and if you have to break for any reason, even if you're injured by, you know, medical reason, you will not be allowed to get your beret. You will have a cap. So the week is very intense. We of course had 5 different squads. I was in Hotel Alpha, and each squad consisted of roughly 10 people. During this survival week, we first had a meetup. They gathered the entire platoon in one building, and one high-up officer came in and had a big speech with us. Basically, one of the higher-ups in the Swedish military all over. Came to give us a speech about, you know, the future and what we're doing and the greatness of stuff, and we're like, yeah, sure, whatever. They also took away anything that we could eat. This included taking away belts that were made of leather, because you could technically eat it. While it's not really recommended, you can eat leather to not starve or not be hungry. So we were not allowed to have that either. Basically, this is a week without food. It's not an entire week, but it started out with us marching for the majority of 2 days. We didn't really do much else. We fucking marched a lot. We got to do some tasks, like, you know, mount a radio tower here or some fucking shit. Do some boring stuff. But so far it didn't feel too special. We got pretty much no sleep, and we had to do orienteering during the night. We had to go to different check stations and, you know, acquire information and then go to the next one. It was really boring to do that, but also very exhausting, as we did not sleep. So after the first 2 days and nights of having walked around, we started doing more tests. And one thing we did was... This actually ties into the story of how I almost broke my neck. So one thing we had to do was a obstacle course. Now this obstacle course was notorious for the fact that it was it had a fault in its construction. It was meant to be shorter, but it was made twice as long as it was meant to be. One particular obstacle on it, the cat crawl, which is just a rope going across, and then you have to crawl along that rope. That rope started out at like 2.5 meters up in the air, and going kind of at a bit of an incline, I guess. And it was supposed to be like, I think it was supposed to be 10 meters, but it was 20 instead. And the tower that it was going up towards was like 3.5 meters up in the... from the ground. 3.5 or maybe 4. Something like that. So on this part of the obstacle, I was the first one from my squad to do it. I get on. There's 3 ropes, right? So 3 of us can go at the same time. So we take 3, you know, 1 person on each rope and just start crawling to the other side. During this, we have full uniform on us and our AK-5 on our back. The AK-5 weighs roughly 5 kilos. Then we had some ammunition and stuff on us for that too. So all in all, we were probably carrying a total of 10 kilos of equipment. You know, some ammunition, some gun. Not so heavy, but it's something. Thing is, I crawl along this thing, and it's going pretty well. I'm pretty fast. I'm the farthest along out of all the people in my group who had started so far, by quite a lot. I was almost at the tower, when suddenly things don't go so well. I'm almost at the tower, and at this point, I feel how my gun swings around from on my back. Come on, because I'm on top of the rope, right? Crawling, not underneath it, because that's harder. I'm on top of the rope. My gun swings around, and that weight made me shift around as well. So now I'm under the rope, hanging, and I was so exhausted at this point from all the marching and all the other stuff we had done, and the fact we had not slept, no sleep, no food for at least over 2 days, and we were getting a little bit exhausted at this point. A lot of marching. And I swing around, I'm on now this way. So I tried to crawl onwards, to get towards the tower, and my thought was I won't be able to really get up on the tower from this position, but at least the other people on the other side, you know, on the 2 other ropes, maybe they can help pull me up when they get there. That was my thought. Unfortunately, they were quite slow. They were quite far behind from where I was.
Does Dota seem really stompy right now? Congrats on my mode BTW.
Quite stompy, I think. Yeah. And thank you. Midas mode was great fun. Yeah, my Dota is quite stompy right now. I really want some new heroes and just new stuff in Dota. I'm not super excited right now. Thank you for your donation, man. Hope that you will have good games. Anyway, continuing the story. So my gun swung around, I'm hanging there, and the other people are not that close. I realized that it's gonna take like probably a full minute or maybe a minute and a half before one of them reaches the tower. So I'm holding on, and I'm trying to hold on. And after a while, you know, I finally can't hold on anymore to this rope. So I slip, my hand slips. I'm like trying, I'm not trying to let go or anything. I'm not like intentionally letting go. But my hand slips. And I fall head first with a helmet on, down on the ground, roughly 3.5 meters, and I land on my head. And my squad was all back where I started, and all of them said that I landed straight down and then cracked to the side. My head, like, they thought I was dead, basically. My squad leader told me afterwards, he said, I saw that, I was like, how am I gonna tell his mother? You know, that was his first thought. Immediately upon me crashing into the ground, I remember that the sergeant ran up to me, put his hand on my back and said, do not move. And he tried to test, you know, to see if I could feel my body, because he also thought that I had probably broken my spine. But I was completely fine. I felt a warm tingling sensation along my spine from it, but I was entirely fine, actually. So I was fortunate enough not to injure myself at all there. I suppose having the helmet probably didn't really help me, because it gave more of a twisting momentum to the entire thing. I think actually landing without a helmet would have been safer there. But at least I made it. And then after this, I was getting to, after this obstacle course, because then we continue the obstacle course, and I got the choice if I wanted to go to the hospital immediately, but I stood up for 2 minutes next to my officers. They told me not to continue for now. They said I needed to stand there for like 2 or 5 minutes something to make sure that I don't collapse and die or something. Then they asked me if I wanted to continue or go to the medical office. And I said that I was feeling fine and that I can continue. And then we continued. And after this, after the obstacle course was done, which by the way, the winners of the obstacle course, there was a reward. The fastest squad was supposed to get either food or tobacco, which, yeah, great rewards. Either you could have some snus, or you could have 1 hamburger to share, actually 1 small cheeseburger to share with your entire squad. Now, the team that won decided to not choose any of it. They chose the food and threw it away, because when you're 2.5 days into starvation mode, you do not want to activate your body's digestive system again. This is really, really bad to do. If you're in the middle of a survival week, do not eat something if you know you're not going to be allowed to eat for quite a while longer. They thought seriously about the tobacco, because some of them used snus, most of them didn't, but they thought about it, but decided to not get that either. After this entire thing, we had to march through the night again. And when we were marching through the night, we took 1 stop, unsanctioned. No officers told us to do this, but our squad leaders, the 5 of them, made an agreement that, okay, we need to get there by this time. But we're really slow right now. We probably need to lay down for a second and rest. And then we'll walk faster when we're awake. Sounded like a great idea in theory. People set, you know, alarms on their stopwatches. Lay down, have a rest. Thing is, it's pretty cold. This is in Sweden. This was closer to January than it was to summer. I can't remember which month we did this, but it was pretty cold outside. We did not have any tents. We did not have any sleeping bags at this current time. We didn't have anything. And people just laid down in the cold grass and fell asleep. We woke up, me and one of my squad mates woke up. He was awake before me. When I woke up, I saw that he was already awake. We had at this point been asleep for longer than one should be in cold outdoor situation. My body was feeling frozen. I felt sluggish. And then we decided, okay, we need to kick at people so they wake up. So we started walking around and kicking everyone to get them up. And we started marching off. We had slept probably 2 hours. We wanted to sleep like 30 minutes. Something like that. So we start walking. And as we start walking, about 3 kilometers in, so roughly 2 miles, we realized that this one guy, where's your backpack? And he's like, hmm? And we was like, where's your gun? Where's your backpack and where's your gun, bro? And we now realize this fucker has been sleepwalking the entire way here. He wasn't even awake! He was legit sleepwalking! So, he didn't even know where he was at this point. The guy legit was sleepwalking for 3 kilometers. And had no idea where his gun was, because he didn't know where he was now. He's like, well, it's next to me. I went to bed and it's next to me. But where am I now? Or went to bed, went to sleep. So, my squad leader had to call in on the radio and radio in to the captain and say, Captain, yes, this is Hotel Squad Leader. You know, I'm not gonna say names, but this is Hotel Squad Leader. We've lost a gun, Captain. And the fury that I heard on that radio, I have never heard him so angry before. Our captain was not happy. Ooh. Yeah, there was a lot of punishment. Monka gun. Yeah. We eventually found it. We had to search the entire area for where we slept and find it and then make it to where we were supposed to go again. I will tell you though that when we finally reached the destination, like some 8 hours later, where we were supposed to go, they then allowed us to put up tents and make tents and make camp. They're like, okay, prepare for, dig a hole for dig a fucking toilet, and prepare a food place and put up your tent, do everything, right? And start chopping wood so you have wood for the tent so you can have fire in the little chimney. And we're like, okay, we do all that. And they give us like stress time too. You have like 15 minutes to do all this, and we're like, okay, fuck it, go. So do everything as fast as we can. We get to bed, we assign someone to be the guard for the night and so on. Get to bed. 10 minutes after we get to bed, they fucking scream and run outside. Get up! You have to keep going! 10 minutes after we just went to bed, man, we just put up the tent. 10 minutes after, they just scream at us and tell us to get up. Keep marching, the enemy's coming or something. Some bullshit, and they're shooting with fake rounds, like the shooting blanks outside. So we pack everything. No sleep for us. The Russians are coming, yeah, that kind of thing. So we keep going, and now we're marching on. This is actually, okay, I'm gonna tell you now probably my favorite experience of the survival week. The favorite part. This is now on day 3. And we feel generally unfresh. Tired, exhausted, pretty broken down. We haven't had any food, any sleep for, well, we had that little bit of sleep in the cold that really I think was just hurtful, not really good. For 3 days at least. And now we march towards a set of cliffs. And as we get towards this set of cliffs, we're wondering, what are we going to do here? Like, what's the point here? As we get there, there's 10 sets of swimming shorts and shirts ahead of us. I don't know why swimming shirts, but yeah, shorts and shirts. And we're just looking at it like, what's the deal here? And then our officers tell us, okay, great, this squad, you're the first ones here. Okay, you want to go? It's time for a dip. You're gonna jump off a cliff. And we're like, we gonna what? Yeah, you're gonna jump off a cliff. Get in your swimming shorts and get ready. And we're like, that doesn't sound nice at all. So the first squad that got there wasn't actually our squad, but they did not pounce the opportunity. So another squad said, okay, fuck it, we'll do it. They immediately went for it. This was actually a smart move, because as they put on the swimming gear and go towards the cliffs, we get told that, yep, now we have to wait here for them to come back with the swimming gear. And we realize it's gonna be wet by the time we put it on. So we're gonna have wet swim shorts and stand around for a while in the cold. Great. So we should have been the first ones to go. We were not smart enough. But, okay, as we get to the cliff, the least favorite captain of the entire squadron, I'm gonna say, a man of pure hatred and despise for humanity, a truly evil man, pretty short, pretty not that fit, but an evil man in a position of power. He's a captain, and he's known for having thrown rocks at people for them aiming too bad. He's known for not allowing people to do the Royal Guard because they are not good enough at shooting or riding. If they were not good enough at one of those things, they would not be allowed to do the Royal Guard. Which, keep in mind, doing the Mounted Royal Guard is the biggest tourist attraction in all of Sweden. It's kind of a prestigious thing to have done it. So to tell your family, no, sorry, I'm not allowed to do it because I'm bad at riding, it's truly evil. Okay, breaking that down, this man is literally Hitler in our eyes. We're scared of him. We're actually in fear of him. There are people who are so scared of him at this point that they will tremble if he goes close to them, because he might punch you, might throw a rock. He's a malicious man. He's the one standing by the cliff, and you're on a line, queuing to go up and stand next to him. And as people get up next to him, he will say, hello, you're gonna jump off this cliff. And the cliff is about 6.5 meters down to the water, so it's not that high of a jump, in reality. I mean, 6.5 meters, yeah, you're jumping down in water that is really dark and you don't know what's down there, but let's be real, it's gonna be, it's gonna be safe enough, right? What's the worst that could happen? So, it's not that hard of a jump to do, it's more of a mentality thing. But some people are really scared of him to begin with, and also scared of heights, and maybe just not feeling tip-top at this point of life. So when they get up there, I saw one guy, I think I had like 8 people in front of me when I got there. One of the 8 people in front of me did not want to jump. He does a countdown, like the captain does a countdown, he says 3, 2, 1, jump. If you don't jump, he says, okay, we're gonna count down again. This time you will jump. And this guy says, okay, I will. And he starts counting down. 3, 2, and just pushes him. Just shoves him right fucking down. And then he says, next. And the next guy comes up. He's like, are you gonna jump on 1? And he's like, yes, I will jump on 1, Captain. So, you didn't really have a choice. I mean, you might as well fucking jump yourself. It's better to jump than get shoved, I guess. But here's why I said this was my favorite part of the entire survival week, is because we jumped down. The water was at this point 4 degrees Celsius. They had one kustjägare, which is what to say. Basically, it's kind of a special forces part of Swedish military. Very good at warfare along the coast. Yeah, not Coast Guard. It's a coastal ranger. Yeah, coastal ranger is the correct translation. So yeah, it's sort of a. I'm not gonna say it's equivalent to Navy SEALs because I don't want to get into stuff like that. But yeah, it's badass coastal dudes. There's one guy in the water ready to rescue anyone who's not gonna be able to get up. But you jump in. As I jumped in, it was really cold at first, and then it felt so fucking nice, dude. I'm like, I've been so dirty, tired, and just unclean during this week. And I get in the water, I'm like, this is pretty peaceful. And for once, There was no one telling you what to do. No one telling you, go there, do that. There's just this random lieutenant that I've never seen sitting there. And he said, my name is Lieutenant whatever. And when you want to get out of the water, you need to say, Lieutenant whatever, can I get out of the water? And then I will say, yes, granted, or no, not granted if you don't say it clearly enough. That was basically how it went. And I said, okay, thank you, Lieutenant. Lieutenant, sir. And he's like, yes. Can I stay in the water a little bit longer because it feels pretty nice? He said, you have 10 seconds extra. I will grant you that. Those 10 seconds, I treasured them, dude. I treasure them. He was a kind lieutenant. He was an old man, kind of fat face, you know, and looked like a nice grandpa is what he looked like. And that's what he was to me right there. He was a nice grandpa in this moment of suffering, because I was not happy overall with life right there. Those 10 seconds, they meant the world, man. So that was my favorite part of Survival Week. Then it continued to just be generally awful for a while longer, and we did different things.
We need 4 steps.
Yeah. So basically we did other things. But then finally, when we get back, there's one more part of the story that's, I guess, interesting. When we get back from this Survival Week, it was, I think, 4.5 days, so not a full week. But 4.5 days of actually only one meal. They distributed one meal to us at one point, and it hurt so bad to eat that during the week that I could barely even eat. But finally we get back, and they put us in a big dining hall, right? A big space. More like a warehouse than a dining hall, really. I think it was a warehouse, I'm not sure. And they bring in food. All our officers left the building to go outside, and all of us were inside. And this is not like they were gonna gas us or something. But they all left, and I didn't really understand why at first. But I learned later that all the officers left the building because due to the fact that we had not had food for so long, your mouth starts like smelling really horrible because you are breaking down your own body. It's something chemical that happens in your mouth. It smells awful. Put hundreds of people in the same room that have all been starving for a long time. It smelled like death in there, they said. And they all left the building to stay outside while we ate. However, we thought it smelled amazing because they served delicious food, first of all, which was rare, and chocolate pudding. We fucking got chocolate pudding after doing it, boys. So I considered that an absolute win. So yeah, I have good memories from military as well, and bad ones. Hell yeah, brother. Dude, that chocolate pudding, there was too much as well, so they were gonna throw some away at the end of it, and I took like a plastic bag and filled it up with chocolate pudding, brought it back to the barracks, and ate some extra. my fucking squad mates just looked at me. I'm like, dude, it's not every day the military gives you chocolate pudding. You gotta make the most out of it. So yeah. Were there any women? Yes, we had 57 people in our platoon from the start, out of which I think 14 disbanded before, or you know, they had to discontinue their service either due to idiocy or due to being too weak to continue. Idiocy would be the one guy who broke his leg during a snowball fight. Could get to that at another time, but yeah, there were two girls. One of them was in my squad, and one in another squad. And I will say, the girl that was in my squad, she was not really pulling her own weight, let's say. Which, sure, she weighed the least on the team, but it was still weight that didn't really carry its own. During the survival week, I will say, she didn't really carry her own backpack and gun for very long, until she couldn't do it anymore, physically. But she also wouldn't quit the thing, because she wanted to continue. So my squad leader carried 2 backpacks and 2 guns. Badass boy. Fucking strong. I will say the other girl in the other squad was fucking badass though. She was probably tougher than half of the guys who were in there, and yeah, probably stronger than most of them as well. So I don't know. I mean, there were a lot of guys who didn't carry their shit as well. but me and some of the others did at points get irritated with her not pulling her own weight. That's why he's the squad leader. Yeah, he was tough. Tough guy. Yeah, he was his parents were from Syria, and he was like almost 2 meters tall or something, and super funny guy. And he recently got married, I saw on Facebook, so congrats to him. Don't expect him to be watching here, but congrats to him. Random story time. Hope you enjoyed, guys. Hope you enjoyed this random story. I think it's going to be... did you encounter any animals while there? During our march? Not too many, I will say. No, I mean, no real interesting encounters. Tell us about the guy who broke his leg. What the fuck? Oh. Okay. That I will have to tell one more story in order to tell that one properly, but I guess we can do that. Before finishing up the stream here, let's continue with some story time. Okay. So, first of all, you need to understand that I cannot be held accountable for anything I say here, right? Like, it's all in the past, Memory is faulty. Yeah, memory is faulty. We may have broken some Geneva Conventions. Nothing too big. So we were out, you know, on a march, and then our captains tell us that we're gonna do something. And we're like, okay. They said, we're gonna take people prisoners. And we're like, that sounds strange. But then again, we are military police. I guess having military prisoners seems logical to us. They tell us we're gonna take people prisoners and that we're gonna put them in a building. We're like, okay. This sounds kind of sketchy, but okay. They explained that this is another group in the military. There's another entire platoon in the military who are doing their survival week. And their survival week was, sad to admit, tougher than ours. Sad to say, but there are people who do tougher things than you did in your military. And yeah, these guys were the Rangers, you could say, Jägare in Sweden. And they were doing their survival week. They're generally the strongest, most fit, you know, type of people you'll find in the military. So they're pretty big and pretty strong. Anyway, they come marching along this road, and suddenly their officer tells them to stop and lay down on the ground. Their officer. And there's like 160 of them or something. There's a lot. Their officer tells them to do that, and they obey. As they lay down, all of us run out from the sides of the road, run up, zip lock their hands behind their back, and put hoods over their head. Totally safe. As we do this, we then lead them into a building and line them up. This is starting to sound awful the more I explain here. Nothing too big. We then keep them prisoners for you know, just a few hours. 8 hours in a room where we're playing. There's a soundtrack playing in the background that is a 3-second long loop of some Russian war song or war chant. It's very strange. It's hard to make any sense of what's being said, but it's very, very annoying over time. It's playing on very loud... Oh, you know this song, No Brain! Yes, it's playing on very, very loud speakers, and it's a 3-second loop, and it makes you go fucking insane. This is something that happened. So, yeah, we lined them up, made them listen to this, and made them stand in line. That's really all we did, though. We didn't actually make them do anything outside of that. Some of them would, you know, kneel down and not be able to stand up any longer. Then we would yell at them to stand up. If they really broke down and were physically unable to even stand anymore, they would get examined by their officer to see if they are capable of continuing or not. Because in the end, this was towards the very end of their entire survival week. So they were beat at this point. They were not feeling very hot. And Some people were fighting back a bit. They didn't want to be prisoners. They were, just being insubordinate. They started moving around because we didn't chain them down or something. They were just standing in line, and we gave them numbers. And we're like, number 103. That's your number now. That's you. But some of them would be very insubordinate. They started talking to each other and stuff. Not allowed. So what happened then is they would get pulled out back. This sounds also awful. Pushed down on their knees, and a car would flash its headlights and pull the hood off. And then one person had the role of standing there and screaming at them and interrogating them basically for, I don't know, useless information. And if they were not compliant, they would just threaten to do stuff. They didn't ever really do stuff, but one guy got scared as fuck because he wasn't being compliant. And then the guy was screaming at him. One of my, he was just one of us conscripts, basically. One of the military police. He said, "That's it, take him to the cold showers." And the look in the guy's face when he heard, "Take him to the cold showers," was as if the world had ended and it's his fault. He was so sad. But there were no cold showers, so he just got put back in line. In the end, though, some people were not feeling tip-top, and then they were fed some crackers and water, and were allowed to, continue. And actually, as far as I remember, none of them actually broke under the 8 hours that they had to stand there. All of them fulfilled it, as far as I remember. And that's really it. Then they were released. It was kind of strange, but it was meant to be a mental torture thing towards the end of their survival week, so that they will, test if they're hard enough, I guess. They passed. However, they did find out who did this. They didn't know who we were. They had not seen us, because they were, remember, from the first moment, they had their heads down and were on the ground, and we ran up and put hoods on them. They didn't know who we were. But eventually they found out who we were, and one day in our barracks, suddenly we just heard a lot of screaming outside. It was the weekend, our officers were not there, and, we're like, okay, what's that? What's that screaming? So, being there, we kind of open up and look what's outside. It's 160 fucking rangers, dude, standing outside. And it's middle of winter, it's a lot of snow. And they invite us to come out to pay back for what we did to them. Now, these people are fucking massive on average. Like, they're all built like tanks, dude. But we end up deciding that, hey, we fucking tortured them, we should let them kick our ass in a snowball fight, or at least we should, fucking snowball fight them. So we go out and we snowball fight them. Most people get extremely fucking wrecked. And then there was one point where people tried to push back. It turned into more of a wrestling thing than snowball fight. They tried to push them back. There was like 30 people trying to push each other back and forth. One guy really stands and tries to push back, but then his foot gets stuck and he gets pushed to the side, and he gets like a sprain twist on his entire leg. Basically his calf, or not his calf, his what's it called? The bone in your shin. The entire shin just splinters into thousands of fragmented pieces. And the tibia just splintered into thousands of pieces. And that's when we had to call our captain and hospital, and everything. And our captain had to come in on a weekend to find out that one of his soldiers had broken his leg during a snowball fight. Describe the sound. Sort of like, I don't know, if you have a cracker and you do this, but louder and more with loud snaps in between. So yeah, our captain had to come in on a weekend, which he was not happy about, to find out that one of us were seriously injured and had to be taken to the hospital. Now, a lot of these guys, I will say first of all, a lot of these guys from the Rangers who were in the snowball fight with us, they were like 3 times as many and more built than us. They were pretty good sports overall, I would say. This was not really a malicious injury. It happened out of, you know, people just turning it into a wrestling match for whatever reason, and who would have guessed 30 people wrestling at the same time could lead to injuries. I think that was dumb. I had a lot of, like, let's say, fun exchanges where I got pretty wrecked, but I also wrecked some of them, but they were good sports about it, and you could tell that they were happy with the revenge that they had exacted in a snowball fight. It was good, which I think is very glorious, to find vengeance for torture in a snowball fight and then be satisfied with that. I think it's very beautiful. But after this, yeah, that guy who broke his leg had to quit, and it turned into sort of a sad memory for a lot of people. And outside of that, you know, outside of that, it was pretty fun. Did you smoke cigarettes in the army? I know a lot of guys smoke cigarettes in the army. There's a pretty strong stigma in the Swedish army that smoking cigarettes is for women and homosexuals. I'm not saying that this is my stigma, right? But that's the opinion of the public Swedish military, and it's looked down on, let's say. So people do snus instead of smoking. Real men snus is sort of the thing. I'm not standing for this at all. I don't do anything of that. And by the way, I don't really mind homosexuals at all. I have a lot of friends who are homosexuals and so on and so forth. But for that reason, there's not that many people who smoke. There was one of our officers who smoked. However, I think he got away with it because he was smoking a pipe, which was, you know, a lot more hipster. I think he circumvented the system there. Having a real pirate pipe apparently was cooler and more manly. So yeah. Yeah, snus is tobacco that you put under your lip. Like, it's some tobacco that you put, it goes under your lip, and that's it. In general, I would say I prefer people who use snus instead of people who smoke, because while they get horrible breath from it, and it kind of burns their inner lip, and it's like disgusting in its own ways, and it's bad for your teeth and so on, it doesn't really smell or affect people around you, you know? Like, there's no passive snoozing. If you stand next to someone with snus, it's not gonna affect your health. So I'm happier with people who do snus than people who smoke. Personally, I can't stand smoke. It's annoying. They're always spitting, though. True. A lot of spitting. But someone spitting on the ground doesn't really bother me as much as someone breathing smoke into my face. Snus is not bad for your teeth, besides miscoloring if you don't brush your teeth. Yeah, I guess it's just miscoloring that I mean. Pratar jag skånska? I guess so. Lite grann. But yeah, that's about all I have to share for today. More story time will have to be another time. I'm going to go and be engaging in a free-for-all battle of Magic the Gathering. It's going to be fierce, guys. It's going to be fierce. I'll be playing more Dota tomorrow. I'll see you guys around with more streams then. Yeah, not too long stream today. But I'll be back, guys. I'll see you around. And I hope you enjoyed the story time.